Hello, hello! My name is Kallista, and welcome back to Dragon Age 2. In the last episode, we reclaimed our grandfather's will and discovered that he actually left everything to our mother. Leandra and Gamlin claimed everything quite illegally. That has given our mother her opening to petition the Viscount for the estate back. Which is all very lovely for her, but what are we doing? I actually have no idea. Rumours. Wayward Son. Varric's sources say there's been a number of Templar raids held in Lowtown's alienage. He can't verify why, however, or who's been giving the order. Act of Mercy. According to Varric, a group of mages being transported from Starkhaven hasn't arrived at Gallows. It's currently just a rumour, however, and cannot be followed up on this time. Enemies among us. According to Varric's sources, someone's been asking questions about a missing Templar. No such seems to be underway, however, and nothing can be done to follow up on this just yet. Black Powder Promise. Varric says a dwarven merchant named Javaris, has been offering a lot of coin for muscle. Finding out exactly where Javaris is, however, seems to be a problem. He'll keep looking. Shepherding Wolves. Varric has heard rumours that some in the Chantry have been making quiet inquiries around Lowtown about the Kunari. No one seems willing to talk about it, though. Okay. Main plot. We do have the Grey Warden. Oh, family history. If the mage Tobias is still alive, he might be in the Gallows. Find information about the letter in Father's belongings that told of the death of an unnamed family friend. I find it interesting that apparently some of our father's belongings were in the chest in the Amelia estate. Maybe it was something that Leandra left behind and her parents couldn't bear to chuck it out, so they just put it in the basement. And I do want to get to this at some point soon. Taking Aveline to the ambush site. You know what? I think we're going to do family history in the way it should be. Those are pretty pressing. The Grey Warden, we can track down anytime. We'll get to it soon, don't worry, but Aveline and Carver are much more important. We have mail. Oh, that's annoying. Let's go do our brother's thing first. Carver seems very unhappy in Kirkwall, and Amelia does want to try and help him out. Ooh, we have a beggar.
Stop looking at me.
What's your issue now, little hawk?
Just don't, all right? You're looking for fodder for your stories.
Do you think you're that interesting?
I have enough trouble being overshadowed as it is. I don't need to get caught under an imaginary me, too.
Don't you worry. I'm not in the business of lullabies or children's stories.
Ironically enough, though, Carver is fodder for one of Varric's stories. Hard in Hightown, the rookie guard. I don't know any of the names of the characters in Hard in Hightown. I know that Lady Marielle is based off of Marion Hawke, and that the rookie detective, again, can't remember his name. If I can, I'll go and look it up, and I'll put it down here. But that character is based off of Carver, which I find interesting. So I guess that maybe the Canon Hawk is a female mage. I would guess. Now then, Tobias. Hello.
More mages. You talk. I'm going to ask the guards about their training.
I know your face. I am Tobias. You and that man are both hawks. I remember your father. Malcolm was a good man.
You most certainly do have a good memory.
My father must have left quite an impression. The letter I found was ancient.
I needn't tell his own child how special he was. As to the letter, it pained me to send news of the Templar's death.
The Templar?
He allowed your father to leave Kirkwall. Rule is not served by caging the best of us. A wise man.
A very bad Templar indeed.
Sounds like he didn't quite understand the job.
Doubt can serve the faithful, even as it vexes them. I fear this has been lost. I will send the letters I held. It seems fitting that they return to family. Such a friendship. Few like your father remain. Even fewer like the Templar. Rest well at the Maker's side, Sir Morivar Carver.
Carver was named after a Templar. Bethany was named after Bethan Amel, Leandra's mother, and if you hadn't guessed at this point, Amelia is named after the house that Leandra left behind, Amelia. I've said this before, I like finding patterns in names, and seeing as both Carver and Bethany had namesakes, I had to give Amelia a namesake too. Ooh, hello. Death of a Templar. I don't care. Thank you. Death of a Templar. The dry, dusty earth swallows up salty drops that splatter its surface. A tiny insect pauses, sensing the vibrations, and scurries off, leaving behind its invisible enemy. As the drops fall, the dark circles merge together, expressing a mirror to their creator. The primal emotions of bloodlust and sorrow blend into a lethal cocktail that breaks the strongest of men. The jurisdiction of strength must be left to the spirit, not the arm nor chest. Only the wisest turn to his inner sanctuary to partition the mind from an all-consuming madness. Seductive voices, whispering promise of glory, weighting down the weaker parts of the flesh, bringing a death far worse than that of hot lead or steel. These blank, hollow promises will echo the unfathomable eternally. Living comfortably amongst material possessions, it is easy to misunderstand the true meaning of uncontrollable hate. Failing to understand the power of fighting against pure, unfaltering beliefs, against foes that listen only to their soul. Uncontrollable hate. Influenced and thus removed from innocence, the scar is permanent and internal. The rain, now red, feeds the debt owed for actions past, seeking further into the earth as the mind draws slower. What was it that drew himself to this situation? The mind ebbs and parts to a lingering memory of true innocence. He entered war as a newborn enters the world, unknowing of both the horrors and light of the Maker that will save him. The sound of metal sliding across leather comes from above him. From the second he was born to his soon-to-be dying breath, his mind was processing and analysing knowledge and experiences. It is true that he thought he could be wise in his own eyes, but only the most humble recognises that he knows very little. Bias, speculation, and all of false pretences make their way to the sound of the sweeping steel, and then finally his soul, as ready as his eyes dry from this final understanding, enters his promise of its purest form. From Death of a Templar by Sir Andrew, Knight of Andraste and Templar Archivist, 9-4 Dragon. I think that's a very beautiful codex entry. I really like the descriptions in that. We have so many Templars. Amelia would be so happy in this location. They make her feel safe, what can I say? Good evening, sir. Aha, the Enigma of Kirkwall. I knew there was one knocking about here. Ancient Tevinter lore is hard to come by, but there's history to be had here in Kirkwall, the city once home to the Imperium's slave trade. What answers does Kirkwall hold? Why look here instead of Pravrantium or Valdorma? The Imperium does not give up its secrets easily. Even with the Magisters centuries dead, our journey is perilous. Here on the docks of the gallows, we renew our vows. And should we fail, search for the markings of the Band of Three. A tattered letter found under a cobblestone. It has curious markings and is signed the Band of Three. Very interesting. Nothing else around here? Thrask. Don't believe he has anything to tell us right now.
It's not so bad here.
It isn't. It seems lovely. And you're in such a historic building. There must be so much knowledge here.
How many people didn't make it out of here? We were lucky.
Incredibly lucky. There are some mage goods. Okay. I know there's a guy there who gives a quest at some point, but apparently he hasn't arrived yet. Now then, little brother, do I have a gift for you?
So, someone dropped off a message for you. It's on the desk.
Thank you,
Not before
Uncle.
he gave it a shake to see if there were coins inside.
Uncle.
I was worried they would fall out.
God damn it.
Gamlin.
Indeed, mother, indeed.
Here, I got you something.
Why?
I'm not holding you back with generosity. Just have a look.
These are by father. Are you sure they aren't meant for you? I bet another mage could get more out of them. For your service that cannot be admitted, I ask that you accept this trinket and know that I shall respect your name. Thank you, Conscience of the Order, Sir Morivar Carver. Carver?
The Templar who allowed Father to leave Kirkwall. Your namesake.
A Templar? Have we met a Templar who isn't a colossal prig?
How dare you! Templars are amazing people. Sir Wesley was great, and all of the other Templars are equally as innocent and would not do anything bad. I think that, how should I put this? Amelia has a great respect for the Templars. And she does feel safe. However, I don't... Okay, I'm going to put it like this. Let's say Amelia is standing in the street and there's a little kid there, and then from out of nowhere, a Templar rushes in and starts beating the crap out of this kid. Amelia isn't so religious that she's going to deny that she ever saw that. She's going to be saying, you know, that guy beat up that little kid. That was wrong of him. But that's the thing. That man was bad, not that Templar. She is far more likely to differentiate between a Templar being bad and the person wearing the armor being bad. Now then, what do we have here? We're not going to slag off our little brother. We're trying to make amends. So we're going with this one, it seems.
Father must have felt he was worth honoring.
A man who let him look ahead. And a name that would always mean skill thoughtfully applied.
Seems like he thought it held some promise.
Not a link back, but how to go forward. That's what I was to him. I don't know what to say, except thank you.
Oh, little brother. He still hates us. To be fair, the friendship rival system, I do like this, because it's... When it says rival, it doesn't necessarily mean that you hate each other. It's more like a begrudging respect. Friendship is friendship, but rivalry does not imply hatred. You've got to be wary of neutral. Neutral is effectively, you are just my acquaintance, therefore why should I be loyal to you? It's best to go one way or the other. Amelia would like to see Carver reach friend, but who knows if that will ever happen. She's gonna try, at least. And now what is this? The Bone Pit. Hawk, I've got a lead for you. A merchant I acquired goods for told me that workers have gone missing from his Bone Pit mining operation. He mentioned that the missing miners were Ferelden, which made me think of you. If you're interested, go hit up Hubert in the Hightown Market. Athenril. Thank you. Loose ends. Hawk, I know we didn't part on the best terms. You were right, I was just trying to squeeze more work out of you than was justified. You've more than paid your way into the city. It's been tight since you left, though. If you're looking for more work, for real coin in your pocket, come see me in Hightown, any time before sunset. Athenril. Bait and switch. Hawk, you might be interested in something that's come up. A contact of mine, a fellow by the name of Anso, is asking around for someone competent regarding a job, and I suggested you. He's always paid well, so if I were you, I'd check into it before someone else snaps it up. He said he'll be in the Lowtown Bazaar at night. Athenril. Okay. I think the Bone Pit and the guy in the Lowtown Bazaar, those would interest Amelia, and the other job, Athenril being like, hey, come work for me one last time, that does make Amelia a little bit nervous. I think she'd go just to hear what the job is, but if Amelia really doesn't want to do any more illegal things, she's kind of done with that life. Now then, let's see, let's go do this job for Aveline. Yep, long way home. This is the ambush site. Okay, what do we have? Woo! I do think that the, I can't remember what this place is called. That's a great start. Not Sundermount. That's not the word I'm looking for. The cliffs. Specifically the cliffs.
There might be some stragglers before the main group. Nothing we can't handle.
Okay. Good to know, Aveline. But yeah, I can't remember the word I'm thinking of exactly. The cliffs surrounding Kirkwall. I do think they are very beautiful. Hello, people. You friendly?
Bianca's locked and loaded.
No, they are not friendly. And bring in the puppy. And, oh, you. And next. And you're down. Okay, good stuff. And yoink. A leather eye patch? Really? You're gonna take that of all things? Okay, Amelia. We don't question why Amelia takes the things she takes. She just does. Now then, I will say you would better get used to this map, because you're going to be seeing it often. As with most of the maps in Dragon Age 2. I can understand why people were upset with that. Personally, I don't really mind. Simply because we are exploring one area. If this had been in, like, Dragon Age Origins, and every map was identical, then I'd be asking questions. You know, why does Orzammar look like the Brazilian Forest, look like the Circle of Magi, look like Denerim? You know, oh, hello. But in Dragon Age 2's case, we're in Kirkwall. We're exploring the surrounding areas of Kirkwall. There's only going to be so much difference. And as for the caves, I'll deal with these guys first. You next. Last guy. Oh, Carver. There you go. And I'll be having your stuff. what I was going to say, as for the caves all looking identical, I can kind of justify that to myself by headcanoning that Varric is just shit at describing caves. He's a surface dwarf who has never, at least not that I know of, never been to Orzammar. He himself says that he doesn't like caves. So I can just justify it as Varric being like, one cave looks exactly the same as any other cave. Fuck it, it's all the same cave. I'm only describing this once. Knew it.
Piece of cake.
And
we're good to go.
Good stuff. There wasn't a secondary... Mustn't have been. There must have only been one on that side. To be honest, though, I'm not sure if I've mentioned this before. I am pretty much BioWare's bitch. I fully acknowledge that. If you are looking for an unbiased review of any of the Dragon Age games, you cannot look to me. Literally, Patrick Weeks could come to my home, knock on my door and say, "Hey Callista, I'm gonna give you a copy of Dragon Age 4. Walk into my home and literally place a turd on my coffee table with a little flag in it that said Dragon Age 4. And I would say, "Thank you ever so much, Mr. Weeks. This is genius. I love it. Let me kiss your shoes." Like, I am BioWare's bitch when it comes to Dragon Age and the franchise. So it's no wonder I'm okay with repeated locales. Now then, Elfroot. Elfroot was first used by the elves of Arlathan, hence the name. The root gave their medicines particular efficacy, so when the Imperium conquered the elves, the Magister adopted its use and its popularity spread to all corners of the Empire. Elfroot is a hardy plant with large green leaves that grow wild in many places. It's so common that it tends to show up in most gardens and fields, almost like a weed. Unlike a weed, however, most people appreciate having access to the wonderful little plant. The roots can be used with very little preparation. Rubbing some of the juice on a wound, for example, will speed up healing and numb pain. And chewing on a slice of root treats minor ailments like indigestion, flatulence, and hoarse throats. There are several varieties, but the most useful for herbalists are the bitter, gossamer, and the royal elfroots. From an excerpt from the Botanical Compendium by Inez Arancia, botanist. Lovely. And hello, people. Get him. Go, puppy, go. And next. Oh, hello. Huh. Someone must be shooting me. Oh, there's the assassin. I wondered where he was. Okay. Good stuff. Yoink. And that's the way we came. I'm not missing any loot. Yoink. An opal fragment. Aw. Not worth it. Oh well. Quick question. How... Okay, my inventory's only half full. That's not too bad. I've got to remember to sell some stuff off at some point.
We're close to the ambush hawk. Be ready.
Okay. Yeah, I can see them. Thank you. No, actually, I'm going to do this with Varric, because again, I remember there being traps.
Last one to...
There's our targets. For the Kirkwall guard!
Okay, but like, where are the traps? I remember there being traps.
That's just rude.
Where? Aha!
What are they trying to do?
Varric. Thank you. Move around here. Get that. There we go. Was that all of them? That was all of them. Amelia, back to you. I don't know who that guy is, but get him. He's an assassin. Okay. And next. Oh, you can get some healing, buddy. There we go. No, you don't. Don't attack me. Don't attack me. I'm just the healer. And yeah, look at our little brother with his dog hammer. Last one. Aveline. Why are you over here? Varric, why aren't you attacking?
Well equipped for bandits, but dead is dead and the road is clear. Captain Jevon needs to know of this. Back to the barracks for your just reward.
In a minute, my dear. Because these guys might have dropped stuff. And I would like their stuff. Got a mall, we can sell that. And nothing up here. Okie doke. I have 4 minutes on this recording. You know what? So at the end of the last episode, I forgot to read any of these. So I'm going to read 4 this episode. Let me just... Places. Okay, that's all good. Law. Death of a Templar we read. History of Kirkwall, Chapter 2. The Amel family. The Enigma of Kirkwall. Elfruit. History of the Circle. Yeah, we read that. Characters is all good. Letters and notes. That's all good. Okay, yeah, it's just these. Yeah, I'm going to read 4 of them this time. Malcolm's Bequest. In Kirkwall, Malcolm met Leandra, and despite all common sense, courted her. The few times Leandra managed to slip away from her family, Malcolm showed her a whole new world, something completely different from her cloistered existence. It was dangerous, forbidden, and she quickly fell madly in love with the dashing Malcolm Hawke. These stolen moments would end all too soon. One day, while fighting the carter on the docks, Malcolm used magic to save the life of the Crimson Oar's leader. The Kirkwall Templars were alerted, but Malcolm wouldn't flee the city without seeing his love one last time. He devised to meet her at the masked ball for the visiting Orlesian Empress. Disguised in Orlesian robes, Malcolm slipped past the Templars to dance with his love. At the end of the night, Leandra would not hear his goodbyes and chanced at happiness rather than face her grey, prearranged future. Malcolm and Leandra ran into the night and never looked back. I said this before, this is not what happened. I like to think that this is something that Malcolm told his children, because we know for a fact that Malcolm was in the Kirkwall Circle. I don't think he was ever with the Crimson Oars. The Crimson Oars were a mercenary group that you met in Origins. They were one of the mercenary groups you helped to clear out of either... It was either the Pearl or the Nord Noble Tavern. There we go. So yeah, this is not true, I'm afraid. It's a good story, but it's not true. Malcolm's honour. Malcolm and Leandra fled across the waking sea, to a new life away from the cold shadow of the gallows. It took some doing, but the vastness of Ferelden allowed them to fall beneath the notice of their Templar pursuers. They settled in the small village of Lothering, where Malcolm made every effort to ensure that his children didn't fear magic. He failed right there, and were well insulated against those who did. Malcolm had picked up a trick or two, here and there, and this deceptively simple stuff showed the breadth of his knowledge. More of an ongoing project than a specialist tool, it is the handiwork of someone comfortable with the life he must live, for as long as he was granted the opportunity to live it. Aldenon's vestments. To all appearances, he was a hedge wizard hailing from the Frostbacks, perhaps Alamari, but from the Wildlands if so. Venerable, certainly worthy of respect, but not commanding it. When he stormed into my master's feast hall and offered his service in a resounding voice, there was laughter at his audacity. Several bondsmen offered to remove the miscreant, but before they could grab him, the mage lifted his staff and the bondsman fell to the ground. Each time they stood, they slipped again, and their antics were met with laughter. Arl Tenedor the Elder, who was not long for this world, demanded to know who this arrogant invader was. I am the beginning and the end. I am Lookbinder, Spellweaver, and the Keeper of Secrets, and I am here to build a kingdom. I am Aldenon the Wise, and if you haven't heard of me yet, never can you say the same again. His voice boomed, silencing all. His magic was potent, and the hall gave him a wary look. Tenedor accepted him as his advisor that day. Then, when Tenedor the Younger rose to his father's seat, he took Aldenon into service as well. I sat with the mage in many councils, and although his magecraft was greater than even the Divinta Magisters, many believed his advice to be folly. There goes my timer. He had little appreciation for the hard truths of our land, they said. Compassion, mercy, justice, they matter not when Tern Simeon invades your lands, subverts your nobles, and takes what's yours. He grew bitter and impatient with us and ours, and these sentiments were often returned. But others could see he had a vision of something better than the endless petty wars of Terns and Arls. When Arl Meriden besieged us, a youth named Calenhad was sent to meet the Asp, but all expected a treacherous end. Yet the boy returned to great acclaim and announced there would be no terms. Aldenon was taken with the foolhardy honour the boy displayed, and seemed to awaken as from a dark dream. The mage told Tenedor the Younger he would lend his aid for this battle, but after that he would serve another. Tenedor accepted his resignation with relief more than anything. By the end of the siege of the Western Hill, Arl Tenedor was no more. It was Calenhad who defeated Meriden in single combat, and he became Tern Calenhad. Aldenon was named his chief advisor. From the Recollections of Sir Deveth, Banner Knight of King Calenhad. Freedom's Promise. As Calenhad grew into a man, one great contentious issue separated him from Aldenon: Calenhad's faith. As biddable as Calenhad was on some topics, never would he back down from matters of honour or Andraste. What Aldenon believed only Aldenon knew, but he most certainly did not believe in the Maker. The friends' arguments grew only hotter as the years passed. But, that aside, the union of Calenhad's peerless honour and Aldenon's ingenuity overcame every obstacle set before them. Rivals turned into friends, treacheries were uncovered, and impossible battles won. But as we turned to Tern Simeon, no one rested easy. Tern Simeon's host outnumbered us many times over. He controlled the holy city of Denerim. Many great and terrible warriors had sworn him fealty. Aldenon conceived a plan to enlist strong allies, and Calenhad went into the Brazilian forest to make it so. But unbeknownst to the mage, Calenhad had made contact with the Chantry. When Calenhad returned at the head of the Ash Warriors, as Aldenon expected, so as well did Templars and Circle Mages join our host. Aldenon was in a fury such as I've never seen. He wanted a kingdom of free men, of moral people beholden to law, where a common man could tend his land safely and in peace. He lifted his staff, and his voice echoed through the hills. A civilization cannot be civil if it condones the slavery of another. And that is what this circle is. But by accident of birth, those mages would be free to live, love, and die as they choose. The circles will break. If it be 1 year, a decade, a century or beyond, tyrants always fall, and the downtrodden always strive for freedom. Then Aldenon left. And although Lady Shayna slew Simeon that day, and Calenhad ruled a united kingdom, my liege was not the same without his mentor and friend. We live in the kingdom built on the dreams of two great friends, and we are all lessened by Aldenon's departure. from the Recollections of Sir Deveth, Banner Knight of King Calenhad. Very interesting. So I am out of time for this episode. In the next one, we will go and turn in this quest for Aveline. But until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below. And if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Kallista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.